Hi parents, welcome to part 2. In part 1, we learned about 2 reasons or categories why our kids on the spectrum engage in tantrums or aggression. In this video, we're going to outline the remaining 2 reasons. If you haven't seen part 1, go ahead and click on this here. It'll make a lot more sense, and I think you'll be able to navigate this piece a lot better once you've watched part 1. Before we continue, hi, my name is Celeste. I'm a BCBA. I've been in the field of ABA therapy for over 13 years, just really empowering, coaching, and educating parents just like you on how to better connect and teach their kid on the spectrum powerful new skills. Let's hit the next one together. Let's say you're on the phone and your kid starts whining and tugging at your shirt and you're like, okay, hold on. It's a really important call. Your kid pinches you really hard. And this is not the first time it's happened, because it's happened before. You have like pinches, marks all around your arms. You say, ow! And then you say, hey, I'll call you back to the person you're talking to. You hang up and you tell your kid, you don't hit mom. That hurts. Then your kid starts crying. Okay? So let's see the B. What happened, B? It was the pinch. Okay? Before that, what happened? You were on the phone. Okay, mom was on the phone, a pinch happened. C, what happened after the pinch? You remember? So after the pinch, you said, that hurts, mom. And then you said, I'm going to hang up and call you back. You hang up the phone and then you say, you don't hit or you don't pinch mommy. Don't pinch mommy. If you notice here, before the behavior, your kid was kind of on their own because you're talking on the phone, right? Here it happened, the behavior, and C, you say you don't pinch mommy. And then that direct eye contact and attention is being delivered, okay? So this one, can you tell what the function or what the reason of this category is? It's attention. Parents, our kids on the spectrum really don't care if the attention they get following the tantrum or aggression is good or bad. It doesn't matter. So if it's positive attention like smiling and laughing, or if it's negative attention like yelling at them or even spanking sometimes, that could be construed as positive attention, or that could be construed as reinforcing attention. So there's a need that's not being met right here. The behavior happens, and here, oh, I got something. There was a payoff. Mom's big reaction. And she got off the phone, double bonus. So this one's attention. And usually it's attention from, in my experience, it's attention from a parent or their peers. How did that one feel? Did that one feel kind of hard? That one, I feel like when parents first hear it for the first time, they're like, it's kind of ambiguous, right? Because there's not a tangible payoff. Let's hit the last function of behavior right here, okay? So your kid is alone in their bedroom. No one's talking to them. No one's looking at them. And all of a sudden, they start pinching themselves really hard on their arms. And there's a history of this because there's like a lot of marks on his arm. And then after the pinch, nothing happens. You didn't even see it, actually. You weren't there in the room with them. No one talks to them. No one looks at them. This is the most ambiguous one. This is probably one of the most challenging to address. Let's outline the ABC. So here, they're pinching themselves. Is also called self-injurious behavior. They're hurting themselves. A, what happened here? He was just playing in his room by himself. In room by himself. The pinch happened. What happened after? And parents, I know it's tempting to say nothing, but we're still going to write something in the consequence section, okay? So after the pinch, he stayed in his room by himself. There's no new consequence happening right here. So when you see, oh, nothing, there's no change here and here, absolutely no change. Something unique about this one, it happens in what's called the alone condition. So he can be absolutely alone and this will still be reinforcing to him. It's called sensory. So that means there is some physical, it feels good to him in some physical way. So he's going to continue to do the behavior because it's pleasurable to him. And I know you and me looking at it, we're like, how can pinching be pleasurable? But our kids on the spectrum are constantly either seeking sensory input or they're on sensory overload because their nervous system is different than ours. So there may be situations that don't make sense to us on the outside, but to our kids on the spectrum, they're getting some need met. They're getting some output that's reinforcing, essentially. So that's an example of how self-injurious behaviors might be a sensory. But again, parents, keep in mind, just because you have a behavior like self-injurious doesn't mean it's always sensory. It could be access to tangible. Maybe a kid hits their head and then mom's like, oh, or teacher's like, oh no, don't do that, sweetie. Here's some cookies. And then the kid stops. In that case, it's not sensory anymore. It's access to tangible. You see how we need to confidently identify the function and not just zoom in on the behavior. If you just look at the behavior, you're really not getting the big picture. What is the function? What is the reason he's engaging in this behavior? And the only way to identify that confidently is to outline it just like you've seen me do in these examples. A, B, C, A, B, C. I think as parents, it's really tempting to kind of watch the behavior happen. And after learning this, you're like, trying to analyze it in your head. Oh, I think it's sensory, or I think it's escape. I really encourage you to get out your phone, get a pen and notebook, write it down. Draw a chart. Okay, I'm coming. Draw a chart just like this and start filling it in. The more examples of your kid's behavior that you have recorded, like I said, you're going to start to identify patterns in his or her behavior. And you'll be able to identify, ooh, it looks like most of them, I think it's this one. Okay? Last one. Okay, this is the hard example, and I want you to get a piece of paper, grab a notebook. I want you to outline ABC, just like you saw me before in this little chart. I'm drawing it here because I don't want to erase this. So write your ABC. I want you to start with behavior. We're going to outline A and C, and you're going to tell me which function it is, okay? So you are cuddling with your kid. You're cuddling with them, and then you kind of get close to them, and then you say, you're so sweet, and then your kid slaps you, okay? And then you pull back, and you say, we don't hit mommy. We don't hit mommy, okay? Write down your ABC. Write down your ABC. So in B, in behavior, you're going to write what? Slaps mom. Go to your A column. What are you going to write under A? You're going to write got close to son, started talking to him. Under C, what are you going to write? You're going to write I pull away and say we don't hit mommy. Okay? If you notice under A, there was U, the presence of mom. B, the slap happened. C, removal. You backed up. You pulled away and you said, we don't hit mommy. Let's take a poll. Parents, what do you think? Lock in your answers now. This one, this one, this one, or this one. Okay? I think some of you, okay, the correct answer first, I think you can make an argument for either one. It might be attention, but the reason why I don't think it's primarily attention is because A, under the antecedent, if you remember before the aggression, you were giving them a lot of attention. So there wasn't a lack, a deprivation, or a hunger for attention, maybe, right? B, it happened. C, you removed, you pulled away. Okay? I would argue it's escape. Maybe your kid needed space, like you were too close. That's why he slapped you. Maybe he started crying at the end. You said, we don't do that. Okay? So that just goes to show parents, you can't just look at the behavior itself and identify the reason for it. You really need to look at the context. Take your pen and paper out, write down and outline A, B, C. It'll give you a chance, an opportunity to zoom out and look at the big picture. Then after you get a lot of practice with writing your ABCs, you'll be able to confidently identify, okay, I think it's this one. It's escape, or it's attention, or it's access, or sensory. Thank you for joining me, parents. I'm so glad. If you made it this far in the video, you're the champion. You're the real MVP. Let me know in the comments, maybe like an aha moment or something you learned. I'd love to hear if this video was of value to you. I have a session starting soon, so I have to log off here. Thank you for joining me. My name is Celeste from your favorite BCBA. Keep showing up, keep putting in the work, parents. You got this.